Hi, Mark Carlson here. So this week's video, what is awareness? How can you become aware? And how can it benefit you? And I promise you it really will benefit you the more aware you become. So come on in. Hi again. So let's look at what awareness is first. Awareness is obviously being aware. That's what it means, right? But what am I being aware of? Well, the only thing that I know about anything is myself, really. I might think about things, but the only thing I actually know about anything is what life is like for me. Now, the thing is that I've been told that's my name, that's where I come from, and this is what's right and wrong, depending on what my family and my nation said is okay. Now, awareness is discovering that if what I've been taught is right, is in alignment with what my, wrong side, is in what, right, I'll start again, it's in alignment with what my heart says is correct. So as I become more self-aware, I get to see who I am. I get to see what's important for me. So how do I become aware? Well, what you've got to recognize is that most of the people in the world, you may be one of them, spend most of their time with their attention directed to thoughts about life. So your attention can only be in two places ever. It's either in your thoughts about life or it's in the moment, which is where life is. Now, cliche to the max, but the thing is, the only thing I know to be really true is where my feet are. Because if I bring my attention to where my feet are in any given moment, I'll get to see the truth. I cannot deny that this is true for me. If I bring my attention to this, it's absolutely impossible for me to deny it. If I bring myself to the moment and look at what the reality is right now, I'm seeing the truth. If I take my attention up to my thoughts, I can have it any way I want. And that any way I want has been given to me, it's been programmed to me. So you see, self-awareness is pulling your attention off that stuff and bringing it to what's real. You see, because I can only be aware of myself where I am. I can't be aware of myself up here. I can analyze things that might have happened, which brings me more awareness, but to really understand myself, I've got to come to where I'm going on. Because where I'm going on, my energy processing system is happening right now, right in this moment. It's literally going on right here, right now. So everything that's real is happening now. And my feeling body, which is always the truth because it's happening in the moment, whereas my mental body is rehearsed. It's a cerebral library of dead information, essentially. Whereas my feeling body is responding to this moment all the time. So as I bring my attention to this moment and I become aware of myself, what I'm essentially doing is pulling my energy down to my feeling self, right? I'm pulling my energy down to my feeling body. Now, my feeling body can understand the messages that are coming out. It knows what's real and what's not real for me. Now, of course, it's a different language and I have to learn that language, but that's what self-awareness is. So 1,000 times a day, you pull yourself back whenever you remember. Here's the great thing, when you do remember, the more you remember, the more you will remember, because you're developing what the spiritual gurus call the observer. And the observer part of you is watching what's happening. That's what self-awareness is. Now, the more that you see what's happening in the moment, the more you get in touch with your heart, and the more your heart will tell you what's real for you. And when you're so in touch with what's real for you, you'll find your passions and then you'll move into your abundance. Now, does that happen overnight? No, because the process of discovering yourself is beautiful. It's an incredible adventure. Now, here's the other thing. This is why awareness, self-awareness is so imperative to your personal development journey, to your journey, your life journey. Because as I become aware, what I also see, as well as what I'm passionate about, which is a beautiful thing, I also see the patterns that I'm playing that are detrimental to my abundance, to my well-being, to my health, to my loving relationships, to everything in life, to my expanded state, right? So I can't see them without becoming self-aware. So the more I bring my attention here, the more I get to see the choices I make and the feelings that happen, and then I get to see the patterns, right? I'm going to use an easy pattern of, I'm an ex-smoker, so when I was a young man I used to smoke. I think because I thought it was cool. But anyway, I got into smoking and smoked for about 10 years, maybe a bit longer, or actually more, about 15 years. So look, awareness, let's look at smoking. Now you conceptually know, I'm sure if you're a smoker or not, you conceptually know that it's not good for you, right? You're putting a negative substance, a toxic, I should say, substance into your body. Not good for you. Now up here, you know it's not good for you, but the addiction still keeps you going, or whatever still keeps you going. Now as you become aware of yourself, what happens is you get to see yourself as a smoker. The more aware you become, the wider that becomes, the more that you can see the pattern. And what happens is it becomes more painful to see it, because you become wider and wider, more aware, more in touch with love, because your awareness, your consciousness is expanding, so you're getting to see what love is within you. And as that expands, you get to see with much more clarity that smoking's not good for you. And it becomes way more painful for you to do it, until eventually the awareness is so strong that you just can't do it. You know too much about it, the pain that it offers you as a lifelong practice. Right? So when the awareness is so high, you'll kick the habit. Imagine that the pattern of smoking is like a ball of energy in your unconscious. And you can just see the top of the ball. It's like the unconscious is like a sea. And you can see you're conscious of it not being so good for you. But as you become aware, the ball comes out until it gets to just over halfway. And you can see the whole pattern then, and then bang, the ball pops up. The ball pops up you're fully conscious of it, and you can no longer play the pattern, and you heal the negative pattern. You essentially bring it into a place of balance, and life changes, because what was unconscious is now conscious. Therefore, the vibration of the energy inside of you is no longer unconscious, it's conscious, so the outside has to change. And that's why, simply by becoming more aware of yourself, by looking at the moment often, you'll discover yourself. And as you discover yourself, life cannot do anything other than get better for you. It has to. That's why ignorance is bliss, right? But unfortunately, you don't realize that until you're no longer ignorant. Ignorance is bliss, but only when you're ignorant. And so it's not really blissful and you can't see it. But there have certainly been times in my life when I've wanted to go back to not knowing because I had to deal with stuff. But listen, the awareness that you gain about yourself will change life for you. It's the greatest gift that you can give yourself. And it stops you being in this madness that the mind offers. So you're going up and down, up and down. You're essentially a slave to your thinking, right? A slave to it. So it tells you you're in a good mood and you're up there, oh, life's good, because you're thinking a good thought, and then somebody says something and bang, you flip back down again. You've got no power there. So as you come and bring your attention to the moment, that stuff, that powerful stuff, that energy up there, which at the moment has a lot of power over you, reduces. Now it still goes on, but you're so much more able to come to this moment and let things be and look at your feelings and discover who you are and make different choices. Okay? So awareness is simply learning to bring your attention to this moment and discover yourself, and life will get better the more you do that. Have an adventure with it 1,000 times a day. Come back, come back, come back. And have an absolutely great day today, and I look forward to talking to you next time. Thank you so much.